Hi everyone, this is Andy. I'm streaming, but I'm also making a YouTube video where today we're going to be talking about the Jelly Epoch. This is my overview after using it for a little bit. I have built it with a few switches, Gateron inks because I'm a Gateron Ink V1 shill, and then I did Cherry MX Blacks because one is here at Sounded without a PCB foam. And we threw in tactiles to make a Franken switch board. As you can see here, I have a GMMK Pro because people are going to ask which sounds better, and this one smokes this, but of course there are different price points. This is meant to be for a beginner board, kind of entry level, kind of get their feet wet, under $200 aluminum. Can't be beat for under $200 aluminum board. So we're going to put that aside. We'll have sound tests for this so you can hear like properly, because I don't really like doing sound tests with this mic. But real quick, I can type with OP Blacks. That's a GMMK Pro. This is Jelly Epoch with Hyperglides. Alright, let's put the GMMK Pro away. Alright, my thoughts on this Jelly Epoch, from OwLab. OwLab, I've been working with OwLab for a little bit. They send me out boards, and it's really cool because I can provide feedback back to them so they can make some fixes before they do their next production run. The Jelly Epoch is a 75% keyboard. There's no knob, there's no fancy things, there's no OLED, but the mounting style is pretty cool. Right here, I took off the side badge weight thing, so there's a hole in it, but it's a pretty small hole in my opinion. Wait, let me get that autofocus back on. Cannot do a review without the autofocus, come on now. And this is a cheap Ziploc bag. What are you, poor? Alright. Hit the icon for notice. If y'all be stupid, I'm gonna have to blur out the chat. So this board is very eccentric looking. That's the main thing people are going to look at. Like the SAT75, when that came out, everyone was like, all I see is an OLED and a knob is for normies. You know, people be like that. And this board, you know what sticks out about it? The crazy looking weight right here. Got a little dirty. What is that? Is that BDZ lube? Jeez. Oh no. That means it's on my mat. Oh no. Yeah, but this thing is heavy as hell, right? Let's see. Got some white stains on my weight, bro. All right, so we got grams in here. Let's show the grams. So this thing built is 2.6 kilos, 92 or 93 ounces, and 5.8 pounds. That's without PCB foam, but with case foam. Build quality of this board, huh? Let's talk about build quality. I always start with build quality. The anode is great. Let's look closely, all the sides. I didn't clean this up. This is actual usage. Use it for like, I don't know, a week or two or three. What does MKBHD always say? I've been using it for a few weeks now. These are my thoughts. So yeah, I didn't clean this. That's why you see white stains on it. I swear it's BDZ lube. I swear it. So it has like a 3-part design, just like the Voice 65. So there's a layer. So there's like a navy layer and the gray layer and another navy layer. And that's a lot of parts. Some people may not like that, all right? Because of that, assembly will take a little bit longer. But the build quality is pretty damn good. And the mounting style, let's see if I can pull the mounting style. I can use this keyboard while reviewing it. It's pretty cool. Centered USB for the aesthetic. Gray cable to match the gray keycaps, right? So right now, we're looking at the, what was it? Jelly Epoch. Pull up the red. Oh, here's the keycap. Oh, my sound test. I'm famous, dude. Let's look at the imager. Yeah, so you see here, there's a lot of parts. The main part of this is the jelly mount design. We'll get more on that. We'll talk more about that in a second. But there's a lot of parts. There is this like layer on top of the PCB foam, the PC plate, the little mounting tabs for the PC plate, and the whole rear section has an acrylic diffuser, a brass weight, a daughter board, the bottom plate, case. There's a lot. It may not be for the beginner, but when put together, especially if you take out that brass side, because it is removable, and some people are like, oh, that brass tab, I don't like that. But when you take it out, look at it from the top, this is clean. So I like having that. I like this little blocker here. There's a right arrow blocker. So let's finish the build quality. Yeah, the build quality, it's good. Even with all the parts are manufactured well. I'll take clips from my stream to see if I found any kind of manufacturing defects, like inner machining marks, because people care about that kind of thing sometimes. But sometimes if the anode, there's like blemishes near the screws internally, although it technically is A stock, it makes you feel like you waste a little bit of money. That's true. Okay, you spend a lot of money. This is a little bit more expensive. We'll talk about price at the end. But if you look at this, it looks like there's a top plate, a top case kind of like dropped into something else. Aesthetically pleasing, this is not the cleanest. I describe this board as very eccentric looking. So build quality, let's transition to the aesthetic. Like I said, the brass tab is removable, so if you don't like that, it does say jelly on it. Let me see. Is there a better picture of it? Let's see. I forgot what it says. Can I zoom in? New tab. Enhance? Yeah, it says Epoch on it. You may not like that. You may not like the font. You can remove it if you want. I personally would remove it. So let's get back to here. Definitely an eccentric looking board. The weight is actually one of my favorite things about it. It's just so loud, proud, and in charge. The design makes me think of matrix boards. They're a little bit out there. As you can see here, there is actually an acrylic diffuser that is probably not doing very much. It's blocking a lot of the light. This is a prototype unit. They will have a different diffuser that will let more light through in the production run. But from the design, seeing how skinny this little piece is, I'm not going to expect the most RGB underglow. But it's there. It's on white right now, which is as bright as possible. I'll turn off the light real quick. It's there, but it doesn't really show on the board. I'll show you real quick. Or show on the desk. You see the light is there, but it's not really hitting the desk. Also, yeah, it should be showing off this on this dark mat. And in terms of the layout, there's two buttons here. It's kind of useful. I always like having delete somewhere up here, but then have the home and page up, page down. You can make it function if you want, but with the 75% layer, you already have all your F keys. I did make this button right here, this key function, so I can do volume with up and down, left, backward and forward for previous and next track. Now let's talk about the sound and feel. The sound is out of this damn world, all right? I am biased because I like gasket sounding boards. This is very gasket sounding, and that is due to the fact that it uses the jelly mount, right? Take a look at the image again. Right here. The plate has kind of a rubber piece that sandwiches it. So the plate goes inside of it, like this, right? And that isolates it, but also allows it to flex. So the plate can kind of like slip out a little bit while it flexes. So when it flexes, it goes out like this, allowing it to be flexible even if you use the PCB foam. Normally, when you use PCB foam, which is this layer right here underneath the plate and above the PCB, you add stiffness. This allows you to use that to tune your sound if you want it. Right now in here, it does not have the PCB foam, and you still get flex. And on top of that, I was personally concerned that there were so many flex cuts in here. I'll slice it in for the YouTube video. There's a lot of flex cuts in the PCB, but it did not sound muted. In the Prophet, there were 2 flex cuts compared to the Polaris's 1, and that sounded so muted that I hated the board too. But this one, it sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty poppy. You heard the MX Blacks without the PCB foam. It sounds pretty good. If you like the gasket, like a Mode 80 sound, like a Polaris sound, like a Vega sound, you can use the PCB foam and the case foam. There's a lot of configuration here, like I said on the EQ68 Aurora review video, and you'll get all that here. And also, they design it with this spacebar, like it's like spacebar PCB foam. It's not spacebar foam. It goes between the plate and the PCB, and that makes it sound quieter. People thought I was editing my sound test or something because my Gateron ink sound test with the foam here made it pretty quiet. In terms of feel, like sound kind of transitioned into feel. The whole feel is just very comfortable, very flexible. You can see right here, I'm pushing into the board. And without the case foam, I actually bottom out because of all the flex cuts and the flexible jelly mount design. I would personally use the case foam because I feel a little weird about having the PCB be able to flex. Of course, bottoming out only happens when you press in the center where there is most deflection because it's far away from the mounting points, pushing into the board. But when you type, you're just like, you can see a flex, right? But you're not slamming into the case when you're typing normally. Unless maybe you get angry, you just got bodied in Valorant, and then you might slam it and short the board a bit. But in regular typing, that's not going to happen. Finish the review. I'm going to slice this because I forgot to talk about all the things I do not like about the board. So that's the acrylic underglow thing. It's not really popping. It's a little bit hard to assemble, but they never said it was going to be easy to assemble. The price is fair in my opinion. It's when in-stock options or GBs cost 500 plus where I get a little nervous. But 400 and below is still okay. That bottom layer without the holes was really hard to push switches into. I'll cut it to a clip from the stream. I had to really push the switches in there. There's not much I don't like about it. The aesthetic, yeah, of course, if you hate the aesthetic. If you don't like how something looks, I don't know why you would ever watch a review of it because it's not going to change your mind. So we talked about build quality, talked about the aesthetic, which is hit or miss. If you hate it, you hate it. We talked about sound, we talked about feel, we talked about price. The price is $389 or $399, so they're under $400. So of course, this is kind of square in the more custom territory, but that's under $400 in stock. In stock. So you can buy it and they'll ship it to you in a week. Well, they'll ship it out by a week, maybe 2. Depends. But it's not a 3-month, 6-month, 9-month, 12-month plus GB wait. I really like that OwLab's doing that, giving people an in-stock option. So when you have an in-stock option, when you compare with something else, I would say you compare it to a $300 GB option. You pay $100 to get it faster. Mode 80 did this. They charge more to get their tactiles out as an in-stock option because they front the cost of manufacturing. For a GB, the runner doesn't front the cost of manufacturing. They take the money and then they bring it to the factory. So there's less risk in a GB on the runner side. For an in-stock sale, all the risk sits squarely on the runner, vendor, whoever.
Yeah, somebody follow.
So, my final thoughts on this board. So let's take a look. This board right here, heavy mofo. What do I think about this board? I get a few prototype boards coming in, and I would give them away to friends and family. This one I'm gonna keep, bro. I'm gonna keep this one. Why? Because I get the F keys to use as macros. I get this large keyboard, heavy keyboard, and I like flexibility. I like plateless boards. I like half plate builds. I like flexibility. I don't like stiffness all that much, but often a gasket mount board kind of gives me a subpar sound. Here it gives me a really full sound with flexibility, with the option to do PCB mount or PCB foam, case foam. And I get my arrow keys back, get my navigation. This whole thing is really easy to use. Unfortunately, I'm kind of sad that the underglow didn't pop. Maybe with the production run, it'll pop a little bit more. I'm a normie that likes RGB though, so. As for the knob, I don't really use knobs anymore. I still like the aesthetic, but because I use the GoldXR Mini, I'm not missing a knob too much because all my volume control is done over there. OLED, like the SAS95 is an OLED. Cool. I'd rather have something today than something I'll wait for. People are going to ask, is this better than a Vega? They're different. If you want a 75% keyboard, you want a 75% keyboard. There's not a lot of options in 75%. You want a 65? You want a 65. Which one sounds better? They sound different. They both sound good. Which one feels better? This one's more flexible if you want flexible. Vega's a little stiffer. Depending on how you build it. At the end of the day, I think this is a solid board for an in-stock option. They're going to have a lot of units, but there's also been a lot of hype. So whoever's trying to buy it on Saturday, good luck. I will be trying to get one for my friend as well. I don't really know how it's going to go. I like the board a lot, and it's definitely a preference thing. People are going to ask if it's better than the GMK Pro. Like I said before, it is, but it's also more than twice the price, so it's really not a fair comparison. The GMK Pro is in a different price bracket for a different customer. Is this board endgame? If you get off of Reddit and get off of Discord, and you can take this board and be good, honestly. Get an extra PCB, get a different plate material, you can be good. They have a hot swap option. That's great. I really like the color. I'm really glad I got Navy because I got too many gray boards. So having a Navy one's gonna be sweet. Yeah. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna go look at chat now, and they probably said some sus stuff, and I probably have to block it out. But yeah, see you in the next video. Bye. All right. What the hell you guys say in chat?